In July of this year, the shark fin ban went into effect in the state of Hawaii. The ban was created by State Senator Clayton Hee to protect the sharks from being hunted for their fins. Sharks are an essential element of our ocean's ecosystem, and by reducing the demand for shark fins, Hawaii can help ensure that sharks will not become extinct. Jade Storms met with Senator Clayton Hee to talk more about the shark fin ban.
Hi, I'm Jade Storms reporting for Hawaii Pacific News, and I am here with the State Senator Clayton Hee, who has agreed to talk with us about the shark fin ban. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for meeting with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell us, why do you think sharks are so important to Hawaii?
Well, the reason I introduced the bill and the reason it passed and subsequently has passed in Saipan and in Guam, in Ponape, in Palau, and California, Washington, Oregon, and Toronto. Same reason.
Yeah.
Sharks play a real important role in sustainable future with marine resources. Secondly, sharks in Hawaii take on the added importance of being a cultural family guardian. Mm-hmm. Like other parts of the Pacific, I might add. So
right.
There's a lot of reasons why sharks are important.
What inspired you specifically to enforce the shark fin ban?
Well, the way this thing occurred is that early in the session last year, in the 2010 session, former First Lady Vicky Cayetano, the wife of former Governor Ben Cayetano, had asked me if I would introduce a bill so that the legislature could begin to discuss sustainable ocean practices. I had introduced other bills previous to that are now law that are marine conservation related. Bill introduction like this one immediately begins an educational process.
Right.
So people begin to learn about the role of sharks, how many are harvested, the consequences of over-harvesting, and then ultimately the health of the ocean
right.
with all resources. And so that's why I introduced it. It was really a tremendous learning experience. But at the end of the day, harvesting fins off of sharks is little different than harvesting tusks off of elephants
Right.
and horns off of rhinoceros. And that it's a wasteful practice that serves no good
Right.
in a civilized world. Hawaii is not an area that is necessarily high of the consumption of shark fin soup.
Right.
The role of Hawaii with shark fins was that it was a stopping off point
Mm-hmm.
for longliners and purse seiners to drop off dried shark fins
Mm-hmm.
to be warehoused and then containerized in Hawaii for transshipment to California or transshipment to Hong Kong. That was the big role that the law, because the law bans possession. So warehousing and containerizing shark fins is now against the law.
Have any restaurants come forward and complained about being unable to sell shark fin soup here in Hawaii?
No, not in Hawaii. There were some that raised concerns.
Right.
But no one complained because they knew that the law would be applied evenly across the board.
As Senator Hee just shared his experience of how the shark fin ban affected our local community, we dug a little deeper and went onto the streets of Honolulu to ask local citizens and HPU students what they thought about the ban, and more specifically, the shark fin soup.
They can't do that. It's a crime to kill animals and to eat it.
I was kind of glad to hear about the ban because I feel that it's cruelty to animals to have that happen to the sharks.
There's no real taste, it's just texture. I just think it's a whole status thing. Because it takes a lot of heart to get. There's no real taste.
I think it's like a long time since I drink it, so I kind of forgot it. I drink it in Japan because I born in Japan, that's why. The only thing I know it's good.
What would you ultimately like to see done so that shark finning will be banned in international waters?
Well, it's interesting you asked me that question because we're now talking with the United States Navy in Micronesia to assist in the enforcement of the ban, because laws are only as good as enforcement.
Right.
And we recognize that it's a daunting task to have law enforcement on purse seiners and longliners everywhere in the Pacific Ocean. In 1 year, with so many other states, Oregon, Washington, California, foreign destinations like Toronto, Federated States of Micronesia, Republic of Marshall Islands, Saipan, and Guam. That's a byproduct of information networking and technology.
Well, I mean, it's great that so many countries and communities are, kind of working together to ban, shark finning altogether.
Well, I'm certain that people understand that sharks play an important role for the future of the planet Earth.
Of course, I agree.
I've been fortunate enough to be a part of the Pew Foundation, to go to other islands in Micronesia, in the Pacific. I'm headed to Samoa shortly with the same intention, educating people about the role of sharks, as well as having them understand that fins serve no nutritional value, and that it was an indulgent activity for those who could separate themselves from the poor to do. And I think people understand that today.
This past July, Senator Hee passed the shark fin ban in Hawaii. Even though shark fin soup is known to be a delicacy in some cultures, it's important to ensure the protection of our sharks and our beautiful oceanic life.